Clark Terry, great jazz trumpet player, fantastic jazz trumpet player, said those words. Imitate, assimilate, innovate. Works for jazz, works for photography too. We're going to talk about finding your style and understanding a little bit about that. More on Mr. Terry and jazz later on these shows, I'm sure. Very sure. But for now, let's just focus on what we need to do here. That's what I need to do, is focus on what I need to do. What I need to do is talk about style in photography. I've had so many photographers ask me, well, how do I know what my style is? Well, the key is you look back at your work, not ahead, because when you look ahead at your work, you say, well, I'm going to try to have this kind of style. And I said, what kind of style is that? Then you show me somebody else's pictures. Well, that ain't your style. That's their style. You're still in the imitate phase. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. Imitate is good. You've got to learn how to use the camera, and you might as well imitate, copy, learn from, be inspired by great photographers. Nothing wrong with that at all. You're still in the imitate. So if you're saying, well, I'm going to make my style like this person, you are basing your work, your body of work coming down the road on this other style. It's not yours. It's not authentic. Learn how to shoot it. I think I do those 8-week classes where we look at different photographers. We say, okay, we don't want you to copy this photographer, but what we want you to do is to imitate some of what that photographer does and pull it into your own photography. Then you lock it down. Just like Clark Terry was saying with jazz. If you want to be a trumpet player and you want to play jazz trumpet, chances are you're going to learn some of Miles' solos. You're probably going to learn some of Clark Terry's solos, because we just heard that one on Straight No Chaser. That's a classic. You're going to learn those solos. Are you going to play those solos the next time you're at the gig and play Straight No Chaser? I don't think so. You're going to play your own thing, but you're going to be pulling from it because you have assimilated Clark Terry's solos. What Miles did. You have brought it into your own. As a photographer, you're going to imitate Richard Avedon's lighting. You're going to imitate Peter Lindbergh until you assimilate that work, and you can just breathe it. You know what you're doing. You've got it. And then you come to innovation. That's when you have to innovate. And that's the level most people don't get to. They copy, they assimilate, and they're just happy as clams to go on with the rest of their life just doing what somebody else did. What's your style? Oh, it's like this guy's. What's my style? It's like my style. What's Peter Lindbergh's style? It's kind of like, I don't know, Peter Lindbergh. It's his style. That's what's important. It's not what you shoot. It's how you shoot what you shoot. That's what your style is. How you shoot what you shoot is far more powerful than what it is you shoot. Maybe you're a minimalist. Well, how do you shoot minimalism? Well, that's your style, but you can apply that style to a lot of stuff, can you not? You can have minimalistic food photography. You can have minimalistic product photography, portrait photography, landscape photography. What you shoot is what you shoot. How you shoot it, that's where your style is. And how do we know what that is? We look back on our work. When we start photographing initially, we grab a camera. We are so enamored with the idea, with the process, with the product. We made this thing. We stuck the camera up. We metered the situation. We took a bunch of shots. We filled up that card. We got back and we got some pictures and we put them up and they look really, really good to us. Because initially we didn't know what looking good meant, but they look good to us now. We all start with that sort of, let's check the sharpness first, and then let's check the color second, and let's check all this crap that really doesn't mean anything to an emotionally driven photograph, but we check it because it's the tool we are imitating. We are learning our tool. We're playing scales. We're learning the jazz scales. We're learning what riffs are. We're learning how to go through changes. That's what they do in jazz. That's what we do in photography when we first pick up a camera. I've written twice on my belief that photography is jazz with a camera. You can Google it. Google's cool. Anyway, most of us started out shooting everything. We just, if it comes in front of it, we got a camera, we get it for Christmas, we get it for birthday, we get it because we've been following somebody on Flickr or, did I say Flickr? My God. Following someone on Instagram or something, we think, oh, those pictures, I want to take pictures like that. So you go out and you buy a Rebel or a Nikon or a Sony or whatever. You come back and you start, I take pictures of leaves and the baby and the trees and everything. It's fun. That's great. That's imitating. That's imitating photography. That's what we do. We love the act, the product of making a photograph. It's just, in fact, sometimes when I look at photographers, young photographers especially, some old timers, but young photographers especially, not necessarily young by age, but young in photography. And I see this absolute enthusiasm for making a photograph. They are enamored with it. They are thrilled with it. They just do it because they love it. Sometimes old timers been doing it for a long time, have lost a little of that. Time to get it back. Down the road, we start focusing on the subjects we think are more interesting to us. So maybe we're not shooting we're not going to the model fests or those shootouts or whatever they're called when the models all get together and photographers make photographs. And we're not doing that anymore. We are kind of really rather go up to the mountains and photograph lakes and streams and stuff. Okay? Now you've started to narrow down. Or maybe you're tired of shooting lakes and streams and stuff and you want to start doing portraits. So you start finding people to sit for you. Fantastic. Maybe you've discovered that you love food and you love to cook, and that camera's like this, it's like your buddy. It's like, wow, I can make food photography that looks and reminisces in the mind of the food that I make, and it just makes me hungry to watch it and look at it and see it. Sounds good to me. That's natural progression. That's what that is, natural progression. But after a while, we start to see a kind of images coming up on our screen that are images that we like maybe more than other images that we're taking. Maybe there's a way that we are composing that we like better. Maybe we sit down and we look at our work and we go, I love that shot, and I love this shot, and I love that shot. Take all those shots that you love and put them in a little group. I bet you're going to find out they have some similarities. They have your style starting to come through. This is where you've imitated, you've assimilated. Now you're kind of innovating into this style. I got a couple of warnings for you. Style is not a preset. If you've based your style on some preset you paid $3 for up on the interwebs, you're in deep trouble because everybody else can buy that same preset. That's not a style. That's a post-processing method. Your style is not using a specific lens. Hey, my style is I use a 20. Oh, great. I'll go get a 20 and do what you do. It's not style. It's forced. It's just stuff. It's not style. Style's not making images that look like somebody else's. Hey, boy, I really like Ryan McGinley. Here's my Ryan McGinley shots. It ain't going to work. That's not style. That's Ryan McGinley's style. You're just sort of a cheap knockoff. Sort of a eBay kind of thing. How we compose an image, how we frame the image, what we leave out, what we put in, how we light it, how we interact with that image as a photographer, as a person creating a visual artifact, we interact with it. How we treat the subject matter, its relationship to the world, how we can take it in and out of a place. We change the parameter of the subject by what we include, what we exclude. I don't care if it's people. I don't care if it's a lake up in Colorado. It's what we do. It's what you have to do when you're doing this type of work. How we make the images uniquely ours, that's our goal in style. We don't want to have a bunch of pictures in a folder. That's a bunch of pictures in a folder. It's a technical term. There's a bunch of pictures in a folder. What we want is a body of work where there's a consistency. Does that mean they all have to be black and white? No. Does that mean they all have to have center composition with backlight? No. If you think that, you're not ready yet for even assimilation. You're still in imitation. If you think that what I'm saying means you've got to have the same type of image or an image that looks like everything else, you haven't assimilated yet. You're still in imitation. You've got to assimilate. You've got to be able to make your own photograph. Does that mean it's not going to look like anybody else's? No. There's a lot of people that are making photographs. It just means that you didn't copy them. You came on it on your own. That way it's authentic. Absolutely authentic. How do we find our style? We look back. How can we look back? We can make a ton of images. That's how we can look back. A ton of images. Make image after image after image after image after image. Make images you love. If you're working any bit commercial, you got a couple of clients, make their shots, then make your shots. Always get their stuff done. If you've got somebody that wants a photograph, do it for them. Do it their way. Do it your way. It's really important to have a lot of work to look back on to find your style. And I hope very much that you think about what I'm saying and you apply it, and you remember to imitate, assimilate, and innovate, because there's nothing better than that, folks. Nothing better than that. I got to tell you. Damn, he was good.